The origin of scrambler motorcycles. We all know the old adage that necessity is the mother of invention. That said, there is potentially an even stronger catalyst for ingenuity, humankind's insatiable need for speed. Therein lies the conception of arguably the greatest genre of motorcycles on planet Earth, the scrambler. The origin of the scrambler goes back the turn of the 20th century in jolly old England, where a bunch crazed Englishmen began to dabble in a new form of motorcycle racing, one that took place far from the beaten path. Instead of racing upon a specific route, they were tasked with simply making it from point A to point B alive, in the shortest possible time, by any means necessary. Rumor has it the phrase, scrambler, came from a British race announcer describing the act playing out before his eyes as quite a scramble. Those brave or insane enough to accept the scramble challenge quickly found their everyday, stock, road-going motorcycles far from up to the task. Sliding, bounding and tearing up and over the British countryside demanded something with a much greater adventurous disposition. What these blokes did next was nothing short of necessity. They chopped, welded, grinded, jiggered, jerry-rigged and modifying their street bikes into dirt, rock, and hill-devouring barbarians. The punch list went pretty much as follows: taller suspension, fenders and exhaust pipes for clearance, and some spoked and knobby tires to help put the power down. When the dust settled, the scrambler motorcycle was born. These Darwinistic beasts would evolve over the coming centuries and eventually take on legendary popularity in the 1960s. Manufacturers like Honda began to offer models right off the showroom floor that were ready, willing and able to have some rough and tumble fun. Steve McQueen's exploits on his early 60s triumphs helped forge the scrambler in the annals of epicness. Here's to the scrambler, the patron saint of madness and invention. When you want something badly enough, sometimes you have to make it yourself. The Brits wanted epic motorbikes, we wanted durable jeans without the stiff attitude. We started with a durable organic cotton denim, revved up our use of recycled polyester, and topped it off with a water and stain-resistant finish. The results: our new Wingman denim. Form, function and flexibility in one simple package. Offered in lean and regular fits for the modern man. The Scrambler's roots lie across the ocean in England back in the late 1920s, in the form of point-to-point races that favored speed over rules. Competitors were tasked with racing from point A to B in the shortest time possible to win, conquering whatever terrain laid in their way to shave off those precious seconds. In a world before mass-produced dirt bikes, riders would have to convert their everyday road bikes into grass-churning, hill-climbing beasts that could handle themselves on any surface, the rougher the better. Before long these scramble races developed into closed-circuit trials riding, motocross, and the Californian Desert Scramble, and by the mid-1960s bikes more closely resembling the dirt bikes we see today began to go into production. It doesn't matter what you have, any road bike has the potential to be a scrambler. What generally characterizes a scrambler is the adaptation of a road bike into an all-terrain ride. As these bikes historically would go from crossing a stream to climbing a muddy hill whilst trying to get from point A to B as quickly as possible, it was important that they be lightweight, powerful, and reliable. With that in mind, some key characteristics of a scrambler are: a higher mounted exhaust for ground clearance, a shorter, padded seat, torque over top-end power, visual simplicity, lightweight components, smaller tanks, mini gwidges, and a tucked-in light, chunky off-road tires with spoked wheels. It's important to remember that visually, the goal is to make the bike appear as though all unnecessary features have been removed, as the aesthetic of the scrambler was born out of a necessity for lighter, faster bikes that could handle themselves in rough conditions. And that's what makes a scrambler such an interesting bike. It intermingles a stripped-down, chunky, and powerful aesthetic into something beautiful and raw. But remember that rules are meant to be bent and broken. A scrambler with a cafe seat like the striking BMW below may just be the right touch for you. There are some absolutely gorgeous examples out there, and we've compiled a shortlist of our favorite links to get you inspired on your own build. Remember that if you're interested in using the bike purely off-road, your needs and eventual look are going to be far different from an occasional all-terrain adventurer. Sometimes it's just good enough to feel like you can keep going when the road ends, even if you never will.